The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
Welcome everyone. We're just going to give everybody a minute here to file into the room. Thanks for joining us. We're so excited for tonight's Habits of Health because we have a really fun topic. And before we get in and jump into our topic, I just want to welcome everybody that's on. So we get a lot of different types of people who come on live to our webinars and also who listen to our playbacks, both on our YouTube channel and our podcast playbacks. So if you're on live right now, just throw in the chat where you are joining us from. We have, let's see, somebody from Texas, we have Baltimore, Idaho, Arkansas. Oh boy, they're going too fast. I saw California, I saw New York City in there. It's so much fun to be together as a community. And I love that we get clients of OPTAVIA on these calls, we get coaches, we get our health professionals, or we get a lot of people who honestly, they're just checking us out. They're just saying, what is this OPTAVIA community all about? So I just wanted to welcome everyone who's on tonight. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to introduce myself. I am Amber Smithson, and I am a certified OPTAVIA coach. And I have been coaching for over a decade now. And I have, my youngest daughter is 12 years old. And I was asking her the other day, I said, do you remember when mom and dad weren't health coaches? Or would you remember when we weren't healthy? And she was like, no, mom, I don't remember that. All my kids know is mom and dad at home telling them all about healthy fats and how to park far away at the grocery store to get more exercise in. So, but I also wanted to introduce my co-host tonight, Kat Fuller. So Kat, why don't you just say hello?
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm a certified OPTAVIA coach, and I'm just so happy to be here too. And I was just thinking with our youngest too, they won't know anything different than mom and dad is healthy too, but our oldest does remember. We were talking about it the other night. So it's so cool to be part. Thank you for having me here. It's so fun.
Nice to have you on, Kat. Okay, let's go ahead and rock and roll and get this party started. One thing that I absolutely love about the OPTAVIA program is how we focus on the healthy mind. And I just love really thinking about growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and how, if you just think of your yard, so I'm thinking of yards a lot because we are putting in our yard right now. We've been putting in grass, we have a sand volleyball court, we've been putting in a fire pit, so all this construction going on. And I think, what do you want your yard to look like? Do you want it to be growing and green and full, or do you want it to be dead and stagnant and just cold and dark? And so when I was thinking about that, according to your mindset, it's like, do you want a mindset that is green and growing and full? And I love, Kat Fuller, so full, that makes sense.
We have a fuller mindset over here.
Fuller mindset, I love it. And I love that if you think about it, with OPTAVIA, a lot of us are working on our healthy bodies and our healthy minds, but if you have the same old thinking, you're going to get the same old results. And we've actually had a lot of Habits of Health webinars, podcasts that have been focusing on your thoughts. And I love that because it's such an important piece to really making those lifelong changes. Because you can, honestly, you can go on a diet, you can, restrict your eating, you can, whatever you do to lose weight, you could do that. But the facts are, that a lot of people who lose weight, they gain it back. And what we want to help our clients and our coaches do in OPTAVIA is change that mindset, because it's not just learning that salad is healthier than hamburgers, because I think most people, even down to little tiny kids in this country, they know that. They know that salad's healthier than hamburgers, but what you really need to learn is how to change your thinking.
And I love that you said, someone in the chat mentioned they don't like the word diet, and something that you taught me as my coach is that our diet is something we eat. It's not something we do. Diet as a verb needs to just go away. And when we're talking about mindset, it's hard to change. It's painful, and it's a little bit uncomfortable. And like that last slide said, if you don't change anything, then you're just going to get the same results over and over and over again.
I love that, Kat. So let's dive in a little bit to the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. So let's just zoom in a little bit. So a fixed mindset, if you have this mindset, it leads to a desire to look smart and a tendency to avoid challenges. This one has the belief that intelligence is static. And I actually think that this was taught like 50 years ago. Don't quote me on that statistic. Any statistic, I should usually run that by my husband because he knows them a lot better. But a lot of people, they just thought, oh, you were born with a certain IQ, your intelligence quotient, and that's what you have, and good job. Hopefully you got lucky. But it's interesting because newer research, and Carol Dweck actually did a lot of research on this, found that really it's not like that. So Kat, I want you to go into this just a little bit more on what the growth mindset.
I would love to. This is one of my most favorite topics to study. And if you haven't read Carol Dweck's book, I strongly recommend picking it up, listen to it on Audible. It's a great, great listen. As a former collegiate athlete, I have a bunch of friends that are still in that space, and there are a lot of teams that are being required in our country right now that when they come to school, the coach says, I don't want to see you in practice until you've read mindset. I mean, that's how important this is. The growth mindset is a key to becoming a great learner and achieving our goals in every aspect of life. So everything we do, and a lot of it in my mindset, it relates to sports because that's where I learned so much. But I grew up with a very intelligent brother, and I thought, well, he's the smart one. But really with a growth mindset, intelligence can be developed, and we don't need to think that we are what we are. And when you catch yourself saying, I am this, or I am that, that's a clue that you're living in a fixed mindset a little bit, that you're labeling yourself and you're limiting yourself. So, people say to me, I have a lot of clients, sometimes they say, I'm a foodie, I just love food. And I think that's fantastic that you love food, but you can always change the way you relate to food. And with mindset, it's just this desire to learn, developing a growth mindset within yourself and everyone around you. Like if you have a team, if you're a coach, if you're in a family and you want a support system around you, it's really one of the most important things you can teach people is that you can grow and change in every aspect in life. As with challenges, as it says on this slide, people with a growth mindset, they embrace challenge. They know things are going to be hard. People with a fixed mindset, they don't want to look bad. They kind of avoid things that test them. And I know we have a couple more slides about this. Do you want to go to the next one, Amber?
Yeah, before we go on, I wanted to talk a little bit more about challenges. And one thing that I love about OPTAVIA is our leadership principles. And one of the leadership principles that we really focus on is we seek growth, we embrace obstacles as the way. And honestly, like just what Kat just went over with the fixed versus the growth mindset, I mean, that encapsulates like exactly what she was talking about, that we want to seek that growth. We want to see challenges in our life as something that helps us develop, something that helps us to learn and to not, it isn't just something to like get through. Because I think a lot of times we go, oh, we have this challenge, we have this obstacle, let's just try to get through it. When, if you look at it, if you say, okay, how is this obstacle the way? How is this the answer to what I've been seeking, to what I'm trying to develop and learn and grow in my life? So I wanted to just kind of put that plug in, but let's go to the next one here.
It becomes more about not where you are now, but where you're committed to going. And then that obstacle, it might look like a giant boulder in your path, but as you are committed more to where you're going, then it becomes a little tiny pebble in the road. So going forward with this, we look at obstacles and we see it as a giant boulder and we go, yeah, that's too big. I don't have that, as with a fixed mindset. And a lot of times when we come up against obstacles, we do just kind of turn away and go the other direction. People with a growth mindset, they persist in the face of setbacks. And I remember growing up and I had coaches that taught me growth mindset, and they didn't necessarily call it that back then, but they said, you either win or you learn. And I learned more in loss in my life as an athlete than I've ever learned winning. And I think it's this principle right here that you look at the obstacles and you persist with effort. For example, with the growth mindset, you see it as the path to mastery. I have children, and my 10-year-old, he wants to play in the NFL. That's what he says his dream is right now. And I was like, oh, okay, so we need to make sure we're signing up for football camps. We need to make sure you're learning all the skills that you need to learn. And he's like, Mom, I already know how to play football. And he just thinks because he's good, he already knows. And so we're working on that growth mindset with him, because for him right now, he's like, yeah, I'm naturally good at this, so I guess I'll be great forever. And it's not that way in life, as many of us know as adults, that he's just kind of like, I don't want to waste my time getting better. And it's a backwards principle when we say it, but a lot of times we do this to ourselves in life. Well, I don't really want to put effort toward that because I'm not good at it.
Well, and isn't it interesting, Kat, that sometimes like natural talent can actually be something that can hold us back? Because if we go, okay, I'm naturally talented at speaking, or I'm naturally talented at, whatever it is, the sport or math, or there's so many things in life that we could have some natural talent that may actually hold us back from getting better at it.
It gives us a false sense of security, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we think, oh, I got this, I don't need to work on it.
So true. And I just have to tell a quick story. Yesterday, my daughter was in a track meet. And every year, well, they've started doing these track meets since second grade or something, since she was little, and she's a sixth grader now. And every year she has gotten first place in the long jump, except for one year she got second place. She missed it by like half an inch. But it's interesting because when she did her first jump, they get 3 tries. And her first jump, she makes a good jump, and she jumps 7 foot 2 inches. And the lady who was sitting, keeping track of the results, she goes, "Oh, you already won. Like, just give up. Like, you're good. Just, go off, go sit down, relax. Like, you are way past all the other girls." And my husband and I look at each other and we're like, what is she saying right now? Like, she has 2 more tries. She can try to improve upon that score. She can try to push herself a little bit. She can see what she can really do. And it was just such a different mindset than what we're used to. And both of us at the same time, it's hilarious. We're like, no, go again, see if you can get better, like try your best. And it wasn't like what she did wasn't good enough for us, because what she did was good. But what if we hold ourselves back and say, well, that one was good enough? What else are we holding ourselves back from in our improvement?
Exactly. So true. So going on with some other principles that Carol Dweck looked at. She looked at criticism and how people take feedback. And someone with a growth mindset, they take feedback as personal. They get offended, they get defensive. They look for ways to prove you wrong. And I don't know if any of you have ever had your kids, had your kids or someone else tell you, no, that's not it. That's not what it is. When you give them some feedback, and it's like, why did you ask? Because it really is. It is a way that people with a growth mindset, they use it to learn. They actually like feedback, even though they know it might hurt their ego a little bit to hear it. They're like, hey, give it to me. I know I need to learn, and it's okay. And they look at them. So there's a quote coming up, so I won't share that, but it's a very powerful quote specifically on this criticism piece. People with a fixed mindset, let's look at how they look at the success of others. They compare, they get threatened, they feel less than. We often say comparison is the theft of joy. In a lot of our OPTAVIA families say this, and it's true, because someone might have quicker results with weight loss or building a business, depending on what they're doing here. And others look at this with a fixed mind. I'm not as good as they are. I could never do that. I can't even stick with it. And we see people kind of feel threatened instead of embracing, like, oh, I'm going to learn from that person. Success leaves clues. And when you see someone rocking the program and you see someone rocking their life, look at the things they're doing with a growth mindset perspective, and use it as inspiration. That's why there are so many self-help gurus, you guys. There's so many people out in the world making a lot of money helping people live better lives, because people are starting to understand, oh, they're doing something right. I want to learn what they're doing. I want to learn from their success, rather than going, yeah, they're good, they're successful, and whatever, I could never do that. So as you see on the screen, it says, as a result, they might plateau early and achieve less than their full potential. When they look at the success of other people, they limit themselves with a fixed mindset. With a growth mindset, they reach even higher levels of achievement, higher than they could ever imagine, because they're going in that direction, and they have that infinite growth possibility within them. So, and it gives them a greater sense of free will.
I love that, Kat. And that goes along with one of our other habits of transformational leadership that we teach in OPTAVIA, which is we take full responsibility, we play above the line. And it's so interesting, because when you have that growth mindset, you're able to say, okay, what can I do to get better? What is my part in this? Because I love this, that somebody said this, I can't remember who, but they were talking about where you are in your life right now. So if you're listening to this, if you're on live, or if you're listening to playback on the podcast or the YouTube channel, kind of take some stock of where you are right now. Where are you at in your weight? Where are you at in your finances? Where are you at with your family? Like your marriage and your children, and not to say that you have control over everything and you're just like the puppet master, but more like where you're at now is really it's just a consensus. It's just a compilation of everything that you've been doing up to this point. And let's just take weight, for example. So where you are at today is a result of what you've been doing for the last month, 6 months, 6 years, depending on how long you've maybe been with us in OPTAVIA on your program, and the choices that you make and the things that you choose to, how you choose to fuel your body, your diet, right? Which is only the things that you put in your mouth. And just kind of taking full responsibility. Okay, where am I at right now? Is this where I want to be? And also looking at trajectory. Like, are you moving towards where you want to be, or are you facing in a completely different direction? So I just wanted to throw that in. But let's bring up that quote that you were talking about, Kat, and you can move on.
I love this quote. So scientists welcome negative feedback about their experiments. But when you are the experiment, negative feedback isn't a piece of new helpful information. It's an insult, and it hurts, and it makes you mad. And because of that, and because change feels impossible, there's not much good that feedback can do anyway. It's like giving parents negative feedback on the name of their 1-month-old child, right? So this is looking at feedback with a growth perspective. We take it personal, we get defensive. There's really no point to give someone with a fixed mindset feedback. It's like telling them they named their kid the wrong thing. And it's true, but with people who like it and use it to learn, it shows that with a growth mindset, you can foster grit, determination, work ethic within anyone in your life and any aspect of your life. It shows that people with a growth mindset always learn, they always grow, and they always achieve more than people who sit fixed in their mindsets.
I love that. And it's also good to remember that you don't always just, like, because you have this growth mindset, that you just get there and you achieve everything and everything's great and happy. And a lot of people are asking in the chat, what's the name of the book again? And it's Mindset by Carol Dweck. Is that correct, Kat?
Yes.
Yes. So it's good to remember that you do need to have that grit, because when you come upon setbacks, or some people call them failures, or you have a loss, like in a game, like in sports, you're never going to win every single game that you play. It's what can I learn from that loss that is the powerful part. So I want to move on here and
really fast, Amber, really fast before you go in. I saw in the chat someone mentioned fear. And I want you to know, whoever that was 65 comments ago or whatever, that we saw it and we're going to address it here. So this is a great principle to think about with fear and other emotions. So thanks.
I love that. So good. I'm glad you're watching the chat. It's going a million miles an hour for sure. So one thing that is really helpful to keep in mind when you're wanting to develop your growth mindset is really understanding how you get to your results. So I like to help people go through this 5-step process. So first of all, you have a circumstance, and these are the facts. This is what happened. This is what you could prove in a court of law, what someone would see if they had a video recorder or whatever. You have a circumstance. Stuff happens in your life, right? The next step is you have a thought about what happened. And those thoughts will lead to emotions. Those emotions will lead to actions, which will lead to the result of the circumstance. And I love to point out that a lot of times we're very narrow in our emotions and in what we see happen. So let's look at some of the common emotions: mad, sad, scared, joyful, powerful, peaceful. Those are the 6 like core common emotions, but within each one, there is really just like a breakout. Like, for example, if you're mad, you could be critical, or you could be skeptical. Or if you're angry, maybe you're actually frustrated. Or if you're hostile, maybe you're you could just be being sarcastic. So there's a lot of just like sub emotions of emotions. And so I want to just take you guys through an example here so you can understand it just a little bit more. So let's say we have a circumstance. Let's say you are at your mother-in-law's house and she offers you dessert. And maybe you are in a weight loss phase with OPTAVIA, and right now you are saying, okay, not now on desserts. So you might have a thought that says, oh boy, my mother-in-law is going to be offended if I don't eat this dessert that she has offered me. And that thought may lead to an emotion such as maybe embarrassed, which is a sub-emotion of scared or insecure. And if you go, boy, I just might be embarrassed if she's offended at me turning down her dessert. So your action with this thought and this emotion of embarrassment is you're probably going to eat the dessert. And the result is you may be out of your fat burn. And, you know, fat burn's great because your cravings are down, your energy is high, you're feeling great. And so let's just look at this circumstance in another way. Same circumstance. Your mother-in-law offers you dessert. But this time, this is the key. This is where it changes. It changes in your thoughts. Okay, so instead of she'll be offended, you think, yeah, she'll be supportive. And honestly, you guys, just because you think it doesn't make it true. Just because you think it doesn't make it true. We're making it all up anyway. So then the emotion, if you think that your mother-in-law will be supportive, the emotion will probably be confident. You're going to be confident in that situation, which is a sub-emotion of powerful. And the action is you're just going to politely decline. Oh, thanks. That looks great. I'm full right now. I sure appreciate that. The result, you're going to stay on your plan. So change your thoughts, change the result. A lot of times we think that the circumstance is what causes the result in our lives, when really there is a whole lot in between. Circumstance, then the thought, then the emotion, then the action, then the result. And really understanding this process has helped me personally so much in all kinds of situations in my life, not just with eating, but in lots of different areas.
So true, Amber. And I think about a lot of people say, well, I just don't go to those circumstances because I don't want to deal with it. Well, that's looking at it with a fixed mindset. You can change your thoughts. Any thought you have, you can change it, which will then change that whole series of things to happen after.
I love that. Such a good point. Okay, I want to tell everyone this quick story. So there was a man and he interviewed with Facebook and he was rejected. He wrote, Facebook turned me down. It was a great opportunity to connect with some fantastic people. Looking forward to life's next adventure. And, you know, a lot of times we face these things, or we're turned down for a job, or we just get off our path with our eating plan, or we have a fight with a friend, and if we have that fixed mindset, we might think, oh, it's over. Might as well give up. I guess that's just how it is. That's how life is. But here's the next part of the story. Just a few years later, Brian Acton, who was the man who was rejected to be hired by Facebook, sold his app, WhatsApp, to Facebook for $19 billion. I bet he's glad that he had a growth mindset right there. So I just want to wrap up with this thought, the power of yet. So be thinking about when you're not good at something, or you say, I can't do this, you add the word yet. I can't do this yet. I'm not good at this yet. I don't understand yet. I don't know the answer yet. This doesn't work yet. And that's so powerful in helping us to really be able to move forward and to find the way, having the obstacle be the way. And we'll just end with this quote from Jen Cicero. If you want to live a life you've never lived, you have to do things you've never done. So I encourage you to work on that growth mindset. Make sure that you are looking at these things in a way. Oh, and just a plug for talking to your OPTAVIA coach And when he or she gives you suggestions or says, boy, I'm hearing something, can I coach you on that? Then being open, and like to Kat's point earlier, instead of taking it as an insult or taking it as being offended or getting defensive and saying, I don't do that, or that's not it, or being open and going, I wonder if what my coach is saying could be something that could move me forward, that could help me long term. So thanks so much for joining us.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.